You know, he must not have spilled that much beer in this thing. And the other fact is, I think that computer manufacturers are getting a little smarter in their design and making the computers less susceptible to getting liquid on the motherboard. The keyboard kind of filters it out to the edges. Okay, let's put this baby back in. Now we got to start screwing everything back together. These 2 screws here. And then we got to reattach the CPU fan. Always make sure you reattach the CPU fan, because if you don't, thing's going to overheat and then you're going to take the whole thing apart again. It's a major pain. I've done it. That's one of the reasons why I'm making this video, so you guys don't have to go through all the learning pains that I had with this stuff. Okay, let's attach that ribbon cable just so I don't forget. One screw there. Everything's still flush and feels good. Let's attach that ribbon cable, push the connector in and lock it. Now put this guy back on. PCMCIA slot. Oops. It's another good reason to get a magnetic screwdriver, so you catch those little screws when they go flitting all over the place. Okay. Looking good so far. There was a screw holding the motherboard in there. Let's get that in. Ooh, and that is the wrong side screw. Most motherboards have this white arrow, which you can see right there. And that white arrow will basically tell you what screws you need to take off on the motherboard. And this is a newer model, so this is the first time I took a motherboard out of this guy. And there's not a lot of white screws around, but that's the only one I see. Okay. Now, take note, you know, there's a lot of screw holes. I didn't put screws in here, here, and here, 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 here. A lot of those get put on after another layer goes on top, like the top part of the case goes on, and then they get screwed in. So you don't want to put screws in prematurely and then have this go on and cover all the screws you just did when screws are going to need to go in these holes here, if you get what I'm saying. So I just want to double check to make sure we got everything in there properly. It's actually not a PCMCIA slot, it's an express card slot. Okay, that CPU fan's plugged in, that ribbon cable's in, this ribbon cable's in, no other ribbon cables hanging out loosely. Okay, I think it's time to put the top cover on. Let's look under the top cover as well and take a look here. See if we see any corrosion, maybe on the touchpad. And the touchpad looks okay. Here's another circuit board here for the LEDs. Right there. That looks okay. Yeah, I think this guy might have lucked out as far as the amount of liquid that actually got into the machine. Hopefully we could bring this thing back to life. Poor little laptop. And this cover should just snap back in. This was the part that gave us a problem before. Let's snap those back in. They are all in. Looks tight. This. That's the lock for the wireless card, which is sticking up quite a bit. It feels like something got in there. Let's see if I can take a look at that.